Assalamu alaikum, brother. If there's one thing that led to me actually transforming 360 degrees, it's identity shifting. And Allah literally talks about it in the Quran. And this is the one Quran verse that helped me to beat procrastination. Allah literally says He'll never change a people's state until they change what is in themselves. We all have heard of this ayah before, but no one shows us how to actually do it. No one shows us how to tap into its power. And I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna sound so embarrassing, but I'm just gonna say it. I have not figured out how to tap into the power of this ayah yet. But I'm gonna explain what I understand from it because I've been thinking so much about it. I've been thinking a lot about this ayah because I've done it before. We all probably have at some point in our life, and I'm trying to do it again, but on purpose. Trying to like create a formula, like a proven, repeatable formula to tap into the power of this ayah. So I'm just gonna explain what I understand from it and what I've figured out so far. Bro, I used to be just like you. I always thought, why can't I just stay consistent? I need more willpower. And I always snapped back into my old habits literally a few hours after trying something new. This is how I was living for like all my teenage years. My prime, wasted, gone. But before I turned 20, alhamdulillah, the pain of being the same was so high that I genuinely knew I had to change. And my entire outer world changed only when my inner world changed. And that's exactly what identity shifting is. It's upgrading how you see yourself. Now, to help you understand this better, why do you think they say mindset shift? Like, why do you think they call it that? It's to adopt a new way of thinking, which leads to a new way of doing, right? So then, when I say identity shift, it's to adopt a new way of feeling, which leads to a new way of being. Okay, this is more powerful than a mindset shift. Okay, a mindset shift is rewiring your thoughts. It's changing how you view something. An identity shift is literally rebuilding your entire frame. Now, if you have an Arab dad or a handyman dad, that sounds so weird to say, but I do. I used to do a lot of like construction projects with my dad at home. Now our home is old. It's like built in 1940. So my dad, he likes to fix things, like do a lot of DIY. But a lot of things you can't really rebuild. You can just build on top of what was already built. So a mindset shift is exactly building off of what the foundation, building off the foundation that you already have. And it's like patching something. But an identity shift is completely starting from scratch. You're not building off of a foundation. You're building a new foundation completely. Another example is of a mindset shift is asking, what should I do differently, right? How can I think differently about the situation? An identity shift is asking, who must I become? Completely changing your identity. And as Einstein himself said, this is perfect. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. It's the identity that adopts the new mindset. You build off the new foundation. It's easier to start from scratch and build something new than it is to fix something broken. Can you agree with that? Now, the question is, who are you? I'm not trying to get like too philosophical or whatever, but like, what identities do you currently have right now? Like, are you a student? Are you a Muslim? A video gamer? Is that how you see yourself as a video gamer? A night owl? An entrepreneur? Maybe you're all of them. I don't know. Like right now, if I was in front of you right now and I told you you're the most productive Muslim I have ever met, how would you react to that? Be honest. How would you react? What are you thinking right now if I say that to you right now? If part of you cringed and like you're just in disbelief, deep down you know that's a lie, you can't accept my compliment to you. It's because deep down you don't see yourself as a productive person. You see yourself as a procrastinator. صح? So you've been thinking about it backwards, and it's kind of like what I figured out when it comes to identity shifting. Like we've been thinking about it backwards this whole time. A procrastinator can't be productive. Makes sense, right? Because an old identity, which is being a procrastinator, cannot have the new habits of a productive person. So an old identity cannot have new habits. That's the equivalent of productivity on hard mode. Okay. But a new identity can adopt new habits. That's literally productivity on easy mode. And for me, alhamdulillah, I realized when I unintentionally like shifted my identity, I changed the way I saw myself. Productivity came as a result. Okay. I wasn't chasing productivity. It chased me, if that makes sense. Now, subhanAllah, without realizing, this happened all unintentionally. Allah was guiding me every step of the way. Okay? I'm gonna explain, I'm gonna reverse engineer what I learned from this. Without realizing, I stopped focusing on the tips and tricks and little hacks that they give you, like the Pomodoro technique or set a timer, whatever garbage they give you. I've applied them all, bro. Trust me. I can say trust me, but like genuinely, I've applied every to-do lists don't work for me. Pomodoro doesn't work for me. The apps, productivity apps, don't work for me. All of it never worked ever. I was trying all these tips and tricks of a productive person while I had the identity of a procrastinator. It doesn't work that way. So for me, I stopped focusing on all that. Okay, and the identity I desperately wanted was to be a confident person. I suffered a lot with low self-esteem, um, social anxiety, whatever it is, blah blah. Then I imagined what it would feel like to be confident. Keyword feel. Okay, I imagined what it would feel like to be confident. And literally for the next 3 months, I locked in without even trying. This is what I mean by productivity on easy mode. This is what I mean. And that's literally what Allah meant. Remember the ayah? Allah will not change a people's state until they change what is in themselves. So it's almost like my heart and mind aligned with how my future self feels, with my new identity that I really, really wanted, just to be confident. Now, obviously, I didn't wake up the next morning feeling confident or whatever, but I adopted the identity of a confident person and started working on making that a reality. Now, again, obviously, reality didn't change instantly, but my internal reality did. Okay, this is the whole focus. Now, the $1,000,000 question is how can we apply this ayah? How can we identity shift so that we can become more productive? Because that's the whole point, right? And this is the question that's been on my mind for a long time. And I'm still trying to figure it out myself, to be honest. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But again, what I've figured out so far is that obviously we cannot rise above how we see ourselves. Because here's us right now, and here's where we want to be. But we can't improve or upgrade ourselves to this new identity unless we know who we want to be. But what I can tell you is that I remember feeling, okay? Keyword feeling. What I remember feeling when I did identity shift was how emotionally charged my thoughts were, okay? How emotionally charged my thoughts were. I wasn't thinking with my mind, I was thinking with my heart. This is such an important concept in Islam that I myself lack knowledge on the importance and power of the heart. And this is what all of self improvement lacks of. Okay? This is where Islam comes in and is superior to the self improvement space. So, Islam talks so much about the heart, right? It emphasizes in many places in the Quran and Ahadith, right? And I recently learned that the heart carries emotions, which is energy in motion. And I was reminded of the hadith very recently that in the body is a piece of flesh, which if it is sound, the entire body is sound. Like the entire body is pure. And if it's corrupt, the entire body is corrupt. And the source is the heart, right? So it's not just about being pure and guided though. This is the whole point that I realized. It's about being guided to true transformation. Okay? Heart first, body second. Your actions are a result of your intentions. You can't do productive things with your body if deep down you're a procrastinator in your heart. Okay? When I think about how did I in when I think about how did I identity shift, like what happened, what was the thoughts that was happening inside here, what was the feelings that I was feeling inside here. But when I think of before that even happened, when I think about identity shift, I think about sacrifice. Okay, like a GPS kind of, right? You can't go somewhere new without sacrificing the spot you're in now. Okay, literally how it works. Sacrifice is needed. Now, when you're trying to go somewhere, like look here, okay, you need to get to this place. You need an address, you need a city, you need a state, or the state you're in, and the zip code. You need all these little specific details. Okay. Now, obviously, I had to get very specific in my mind. Like, that's how the mind works. If you have a vague destination, you're gonna be lost, even if you have the GPS, even if you have these sources to help you out. Now, what's funny is, even though I've been applying this, I've been getting specific in my mind. And this is what also other like YouTubers talk about, getting specific, asking yourself questions, blah blah. What's funny is I don't feel anything in my heart. And I can't seem to replicate how I felt or how emotionally charged I was when I did identity shift. So like I'm trying to reverse engineer when I did identity shift and actually transformed myself, alhamdulillah. I can sit there and use my mind to get specific about what I want, who I want to be, how I want to feel, and I still don't feel anything in my heart, which is really weird. And this is the part I'm still trying to figure out. And I think it's the most important part because that's where true change happens, right? Heart first, body second. Hadith confirms this. The ayah in the Quran confirms this. Now, the $1,000,000 question that I'm still trying to figure out is how to intentionally, emotionally charge my thoughts. How to truly change what's in myself, what's in my heart, not just change my thoughts. Okay. And like, even though Think and Grow Rich has some stuff on like how to raise your vibration, from my experience, like I've tried it and it was not anywhere near as effective as when I first identity shifted unintentionally. It's so weird. SubhanAllah, Islam makes it so clear. So clear. Change happens in the heart. Happens in the heart, man. So this is the question that I'm still trying to figure out. But I just wanted to share with you what I've learned so far about identity shifting and the fact that the Quran has the answer. And I'm still trying to figure out how to tap into its power. Yeah, maybe the answer is super simple. Maybe it's not. I have no idea. But I can tell you that I haven't truly found an answer that I'm satisfied with from any other YouTuber. I don't think I've found anything from an Islamic perspective. Maybe like a sneak peek from Muhammad al-Ubaidi, but other than that, it's like I'm not satisfied with any answers that I've found so far. But I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep experimenting. I'm gonna keep trying to figure this out because the Quran has the answers, bro. And yeah, I always find it so awkward to like end these videos, but that's it for now. Assalamu alaikum. What are you still doing here? Rahmanan, time for Salah, time for Maghrib. Assalamu alaikum, bro.